Good morning students. In this video we are going to revise last topic of this chapter. Okay, so now we will continue development post fertilization events. So already explained all those events which takes place after fertilization collectively known as post fertilization events. Once again, what do you mean by post fertilization events? All those events which takes place after fertilization collectively known as post fertilization events. Now fourth topic, development of fruit from ovary. So fruit may be defined as the ripened ovary, or you can say after fertilization ovary change into fruit. Ovary, you know, it is the basal part of the carpel or pistil, and after fertilization each ovary converted into fruit. Okay, now see part of fruit. When you will see part of fruit, when you will see a typical fruit, you will find that a typical fruit has two parts. First one is known as fruit wall, and second one is known as seed. Okay, so what do you mean by fruit wall? The outer layer of the fruit is known as fruit wall, and a typical fruit wall consists of three layers. Like in case of mango, it is epicarp, the outermost layer of the fruit wall, then mesocarp, the middle layer of the fruit, and endocarp, the innermost layer of the fruit. Okay, so what do you mean by fruit wall? The outer layer of the fruit is known as fruit wall, and sometimes it is divided into three layers: epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp. Epicarp is the outermost layer of the fruit, mesocarp is the middle layer of the fruit, and endocarp is the innermost layer of the fruit, and seed present inside the fruit. So this is part of fruit. Now see, fruit can be classified into two types on the basis of development. Okay, types of fruit. Fruit can be classified into two types. First one is known as true fruit. On the basis of development, fruit are of two types. First one, true fruit, and second one is false fruit. False fruit also known as pseudo fruit. Okay, what do you mean by true fruit? The fruit which develops only involvement of ovary. The fruit which develops only involvement of ovary known as true fruit. That means in this type of development only ovary involved in the development of the fruit. Okay, example tomato, example mango, example lemon. Once again, what do you mean by true fruit? The fruit which develops only the involvement of the ovary known as true fruit. Okay, examples tomato, mango and lemon. Now come to the next, false fruit. The fruit which develops from ovary along with some accessory part. Mostly the accessory part is thalamus or receptacle, known as false fruit. That means during the development of false fruit, ovary along with some accessory part of the flower also involved, known as false fruit. And examples of false fruit are apple. Okay, next is strawberry. Next is cashew nut. It is given in NCERT book. You read carefully. Okay. So what is the basic difference? In case of true fruit, only ovary involved in the development of the fruit, and in case of false fruit, along with the ovary, some accessory part like thalamus or receptacle also involved in the development of the fruit. So this is about types of fruit and parts of fruit. Now come to the next. What do you mean by apomixis? Development of seed without fertilization is known as apomixis. Once again, what do you mean by apomixis? Development of development of seed without fertilization is known as apomixis. Next is, what do you mean by parthenocarpy? Development of fruit without fertilization is known as parthenocarpy. Come to the next, polyembryony. Occurrence of more than one embryo inside the seed is known as polyembryony. Once again, what do you mean by apomixis? Development of seed without fertilization is known as apomixis. Okay, parthenocarpy. Development of fruit without fertilization is known as parthenocarpy. And polyembryony, occurrence of more than one embryo inside the seed is known as polyembryony. Okay, now this is I have completed last topic of this chapter. Now see some basic terms. It is very important, and now I am going to revise these basic terms. First one, pericarp and perisperm. pericarp and perisperm. Okay, when you will see a fruit, you will find that each fruit have a fruit wall. This fruit wall is known as pericarp or fruit wall. Once again, what do you mean by pericarp? Pericarp is nothing but it is the outer layer of the fruit is known as fruit wall or pericarp. What is perisperm? When you will see the ovule structure or megasporangium. So this is the embryo sac. Okay, this embryo sac contains, it is a 7 cell. It is antipodal cell, polar cell, X cell and synergid cell. So around the embryo sac a parenchymal tissue present, and this tissue provides nourishment, and this tissue is known as nucellus. But in some cases, the remains of nucellus present after the formation of seed. The remains of nucellus present, and the remains of nucellus is known as perisperm. What is nucellus? A parenchymal tissue that surrounds embryo sac in case of flowering plants that provide nourishment, known as nucellus, and the remains of nucellus after fertilization is known as perisperm. Once again, what do you mean by nucellus? This is the embryo sac, spherical one, that is 7 cells and 8 nuclei. Out of 7 cells, 3 cells are antipodal cell, 1 is the polar cell, and 1 X cell and 2 synergid cell. Okay, and this embryo sac surrounds a special parenchymal tissue, and this tissue is known as nucellus. But in some cases, after fertilization, it provides nourishment, but in some cases, after fertilization, it remains as such, like in case of black pepper. Okay, this remains of nucellus is known as perisperm. Now come to the next, zoospore and zygote difference. You know, zoospores a kind of spores produced during asexual reproduction. Okay, zoospores a kind of spores produced during asexual reproduction, and zoospores always motile. Okay, and zygote, it is the structure formed by the fusion of male and female gametes. So this is the zygote, and this is the zoospore. Example is Chlamydomonas. Zygote found in higher organisms. Okay, so what is the basic difference between zygote and zoospore? Zoospore is motile, that means it has flagella. Zygote is non-motile. Second difference, zoospores are always produced during asexual reproduction. Zygote always produced during sexual reproduction. Third difference, zoospore may be haploid or diploid, but always zygote always diploid. Okay, how you can differentiate? First difference, zoospores always motile, it has flagella. Zygote non-motile. Second difference, zoospore produced during asexual reproduction and zygote produced during sexual reproduction. Third difference, zoospores may be haploid or diploid, but zygote always diploid. So this is difference between zoospore and zygote. Try to understand well. It will help to solve the various questions. Okay, come to the next, nucellus and perisperm difference. Nucellus and perisperm. It is already explained. A special parenchymal tissue that surrounds embryo sac. So this is the embryo sac, and this embryo sac surrounds by special parenchymal tissue. This tissue is known as nucellus. Okay, but in some cases, this nucellus remains after the formation of seed, and this remains of nucellus is known as perisperm. So what is nucellus? A special parenchymal tissue that surrounds embryo sac in case of flowering plants, known as nucellus, and the remains of nucellus after fertilization is known as perisperm. Come to the next, apomixis and parthenocarpy. Development of seed without fertilization. Development of seed without fertilization is known as apomixis. Development of seed without fertilization is known as apomixis, and development of fruit without fertilization is known as parthenocarpy. Come to the next topic, epicotyle and hypocotyle. This topic is very important. Epicotyle and hypocotyle. When you will see a typical dicot embryo, you will find that it has plumule upside and radical downside. So this is what? This is the plumule. Okay, and this is the radical. Correct. This is the embryonal axis. This is the embryonal, straight line is the embryonal axis. Okay. What do you mean by the term epicotyle? This part is epicotyle, embryonal axis. The part of embryonal axis that present between plumule and cotyledons. In case of dicot embryo, what do you mean by epicotyle? The part of embryonal axis that present between plumule and cotyledons is known as epicotyle. Okay. And the what do you mean by hypocotyle? The part of embryonal axis that present between cotyledons and radicle. This part is known as hypocotyle. Hypocotyle. Or you can say the part of embryonal axis that present above the cotyledons known as epicotyle, and the part of embryonal axis that present below the cotyledons known as hypocotyle. Once again, try to understand well. Okay, what do you mean by epicotyle? So epicotyle may be defined as the part of embryonal axis that present between plumule and cotyledons is known as epicotyle, and the part of embryonal axis that present between cotyledons and radicle is known as hypocotyle. One more definition: the part of embryonal axis that present above the level of cotyledon. This is the above epicotyle, and the part of embryonal axis that present below the level of cotyledons known as hypocotyle. So this is all about epicotyle and hypocotyle. Now come to the next. Coleoptile and coleorhiza, a thin membrane that surrounds radicle. In case of monocots embryo is known as coleorhiza. Rhiza means root, always surrounds root, radicle. A thin membrane that surrounds a radicle in case of monocot embryo is known as coleorhiza, and a thin membrane that surrounds plumule in case of monocot embryo is known as coleoptile. Come to the next. Integument and testa. What do you mean by integument? Integument may be defined as the protective layers of the ovule or embryo sac, and testa is the structure produced from integument after fertilization. That means testa it is the layer, seed coat layer. Okay. So once again, what do you know integument? It is the pre-fertilization structure. It is the layer of embryo sac or ovule, outer integument and inner integument, and this integument converted into testa or seed coat after fertilization. So integument is the pre-fertilization structure and testa is the after fertilization, post-fertilization structure. Come to the next. True fertilization, triple fusion and syngamy. What is triple fusion? You know. First, syngamy. The process of fusion of the male gamete of the pollen grain with the egg cell is known as syngamy. Syngamy results in the formation of zygote. Once again, what do you mean by syngamy? The process of fusion of one of the male gamete of the pollen grain with the egg cell is known as syngamy. Syngamy leads to the formation of zygote. And what do you mean by triple fusion? The process of fusion of the second male gamete of the pollen grain with the polar cell or secondary nucleus is known as triple fusion. Triple fusion leads to the formation of a triploid tissue known as endosperm, and this endosperm provides nourishment to the developing embryo inside the seed. Come to the next. Monothecous and dithecous anther. Okay. Monothecous. Mono means one, di means two. The anther in which each anther lobe contains, suppose that this is the anther lobe. Okay. When each anther lobe contains single theca chamber, or you can say pollen sac, such anther known as monothecous anther. What do you mean monothecous anther? The anther in which each anther lobes contains single theca chamber known as monothecous anther, and the anther in which each anther lobe contains two theca chamber. This is one theca. This is the one theca. This is the second one. This is the again one. This is the second one. When each anther lobe contains single theca chamber, such anther known as monothecous anther. It is very less common in case of flowering plants. And when each anther lobe contains two theca chamber, collectively known as dithecous anther. It is very most common in case of flowering plants. Okay, come to the next. Microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. Microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. The process of development of microspores from microspore mother cell after meiosis division is known as microsporogenesis. After microsporation, 4 haploid microspores produced from microspore mother cell. What is megasporogenesis? The process of development of megaspores from megaspore mother cell is known as megasporogenesis. Okay, microsporogenesis takes place inside the pollen sac or microsporangium, and megasporogenesis takes place inside the nucleus of the embryo sac or female gametophyte. Come to the next, that is fertilization and double fertilization. Fertilization, you know well, the process of fusion of male and female gametes is known as fertilization. And the what do we mean double fertilization? The fertilization which takes place 2 times, during syngamy, during fusion of the egg cell and the male gamete, and during triple fusion of the second male gamete with the polar cell. So this, when fertilization takes place 2 times, such fertilization is known as double fertilization. It is the characteristic feature of flowering plants. And the process of fusion of male and female gametes is known as fertilization. It is found in all the organisms that reproduce by sexual reproduction. That reproduce sexually have fertilization. Once again, what do you mean by fertilization? The process of fusion of male and female gametes during sexual reproduction is known as fertilization. And what do you mean by double fertilization? The fertilization which takes place 2 times, during syngamy and during triple fusion, collectively known as double fertilization. It was first discovered by S.G. Namaste. It was first discovered by S.G. Namaste in the plant Lilium and Fritillaria. Lilium and Fritillaria. So this is all about all the basic terms related to chapter 1. Now today I have completed your portion, chapter 1 and chapter 2 for the first periodic test. Thank you. If any question, if any problem, you can post comment. I will give answer. Okay. Thank you.